Today we're talking about blue hives. Honestly, it's probably the most important hive in Bee Swarm because it should absolutely be your first color, no matter what. The best part is that blue is just super simple. There are no crazy, complicated mechanics to learn. Unlike red or white hives where you have to memorize a ton of little details before you even think about switching, blue is pretty straightforward. But even then, a lot of people still get confused about how a blue hive actually works. So today, I'm breaking it all down. This is your guide to early and mid-game blue hives. Let's get right into it. All right, so first up, how does a blue hive actually make honey? Every color has its own unique playstyle. Like with red, you're trying to collect as much straight pollen as possible, and with white, it's all about collecting that goo. But blue, basically, 80% of the honey you make with a blue hive comes straight from balloons. But hold on, before we even get into how all that balloon stuff works, we need to answer the big question. When exactly should you actually switch to an early blue hive? To go early blue, you can't just do it whenever you want. You need to hit some major requirements first. If you transition without these, you are going to slow down your progress massively. First off, for your preparation, you should be at around 45 bees. You also want to make sure you already have the diamond mask, or you are at least very close to getting it. Next up are your quests. You need to have all of Science Bear's and Onette's quests completed. Although, if you have everything else done, and you only have the pollen collection parts left for their final quests, you're actually okay to switch. You also need to knock out at least 10 Spirit Bear quests, though 20 is really what you should aim for. Another massive requirement, you need to complete 10 Grandmaster badges. You need these for the Supreme Saturator, and trust me, it becomes way harder to get these badges after you go blue, so get them done now. Now pay attention to this part because it's a huge mistake a lot of people make. Before you switch, you absolutely must use your star eggs to get gifted mythic bees. The trick here is to use royal jellies to get every single gifted type of bee in your hive, except mythics and events, so that when you hatch your star egg, it guarantees a brand new mythic type. The only excuse for not doing this is if you accidentally used your star eggs earlier in the game without knowing you were supposed to save them. Finally, right before you hit that switch, make sure you have about 10 to 20 billion honey saved up. You'll need this to roll for the right bees. And remember, once you are building your hive, any mythic bee that isn't a buoyant, tadpole, or fuzzy bee needs to be replaced. The only reason you should keep other mythics is if you still need to gift them to unlock your Supreme Star Amulet.
So now let's talk about the bees in Blue Hive. There are 3 specific bees that make Blue Hive works: Buoyant bee, tadpole, and diamond bee. Let's talk about buoyant bee first. Buoyant bee basically spawn a balloon in the field. They will last for 20 seconds. The higher level you hit, the longer balloon will last for. And the balloons scale up with your bag capacity and your levels. The higher capacity and the level you hit, the higher balloon you're gonna get. That's why you saw a lot of Blue Hive players had a lot of capacity. And to build balloon, you need to stand under it. The pollen you collected will go straight to the balloon instead of your bag capacity. That's why blue does not need to run Star. And also, when you stand under the balloon, you will get the balloon aura buff, which gives times 1.02 pollen and 2% honey from token, which is stackable by the way. Also, the gifted ability of Buoyant Bee is very OP. It's called Surprise Party. It will spawn 4 to 5 good balloons, which had more capacity in the balloon. And when a bubble is near the balloon, it had the chance to spawn gold bubbles, which will collect 50% more pollen. The Surprise Party cooldown is 8 minutes. If your Buoyant Bee spawns another token again, it will just be a regular good balloons. Also, other people can also summon Surprise Party for you. Last, the passive ability. Basically make Buoyant Bee have more convert amount and attack with Balloon Blessing. Next up, Tadpole Bee and Diamond Bee. Basically, Tadpole Bee spawn bubbles which give pollen and is needed to build Pop Star. And it also gives Blue Boost token, which is very important because to activate Pop Star you need boost token. Also, you can use like Pedal 1, Pedal Bell and Tide Popper to pop it. Lastly, Diamond Bee. This bee is mostly for mid-game and end-game players, because it's the passive ability, it's just broken. Basically, when you convert at your hive, you make 150% more honey at level 20, which is super broken for end-game players. Next up, amulets. Having good amulets is key, and the most important stats in your amulets are common rate and blue pollen. These two buff makes blue hive stronger. These two buff is 100% needed on your SSA, your shell amulet, even your core amulet, so get them. Also, try to get 5 out of 5 solo pop if possible, because I think that's better than 3 out of 5 double passive. And by the way, blue does not need to run instant conversation unless you're overfilling. I won't explain much stats because there's nothing much to say about stats unless you guys want it. I will do a short guide. Next up, your macro settings. Having a good macro settings is key because 80% of your honey comes from macro. So let me show you guys how to get custom patterns. First, you need custom patterns because the default ones are just trash. So first up, you need to go to natural server or beeswarm guide help server and click the macro patterns. Then you need to download either plate or kettle because these two are one of the best patterns. Download them and then drag to your home page. After that, you need to open your natural macro and find patterns, and then click them, and then you just drag them in. Yeah, it's just that simple. After that, you need to copy the settings to your natural macro. Next up are your boost tab. So you need to maintain like X4 pine tree field boost and the buff. So let me show you the settings. So to maintain X4 field boost, click auto field boost and turn off this activate automatic and click dice and glitter, any slot works, and click limit to unlimited or none. So yeah, this auto field boost will help you maintain X4 every single time, and that's the auto field boost setting. For the hotbar settings, you need to always set exam at converting balloon because you need to convert your balloon fast, and your whirligig so that you can convert even faster. So for the 4th and 5th slot, you could put blue extract, oil, tropical drink, glue, is up to you. The best is blue extract and oil. Yeah, if you have a lot of the materials, just do always. If you have very less of them, just do gathering, and that's it. And the settings from here, do every 10 minutes. And the private server link, you need to paste them if you disconnected. And yeah, these are the settings. Also, forgot to mention about nectar. You need to build max nectar if you can. And also buy better planters like the petal planter, heat and hydro, and you'll be fine, I think. So the first nectar you should get is comforting, and then motivation, satisfying, refreshing. Last is the fire one. You can put auto or harvest every 2 hours, it's up to you.
Alright, let's talk about beequips. So what actually is a beequip? Basically, they are like steroids that you can put on your bees. They give tons of buffs and stat bonuses, and they can even act as extra token producers. It's honestly like having an extra bee in your hive. Because of that, this is one of the most important parts of playing a blue hive. Literally, you can make 50% more honey just based on your beequip setup alone. Let's start with the absolute must-run beequips for all blue hives. First up, you need 2 pine cones. Pine cones are the most necessary beequip for blue hives due to their buffs. They give pine tree field capacity, which actually increases the capacity that your balloons have, and they give pine tree field pollen. This makes pine the best field for blue hives. You should primarily run these on your bear and bumblebees. Next, you need 2 elf caps. When waxed, elf caps can give high honey at hive bonuses. Because most of your honey is from converting balloons, it is a really good beequip, and they also give a decent buff to conversion. On the other hand, they are generally not worth running without the honey at hive as a hive bonus. Use this on your festive and tabby bee, or both on your diamonds if you run a diamond hive. Third is the camphor lip balm. This beequip gives an incredibly powerful buff to bubble pollen, as well as a possible buff to gold bubble pollen when caustic waxed. Put this on your bubblebee. Fourth is the candy ring. The candy ring gives a massive buff to honey at Hive, and you can get it quite commonly from Dapper Bear's shop. Use this on your gummy bee, or diamond bee if you run a diamond hive. Last of the must-haves is the snow tiara. The snow tiara can give a relatively decent buff to blue field capacity. Unfortunately, the hive bonus getting upgraded past 5% is not really common. Use this Beequip on your diamond bee. Now for the Beequips a blue hive should run. The reindeer antlers are amazing. These can give up to a 1.1 times capacity buff with reindeer guidance, and the Beequip alone can give a capacity 1 to 6% hive bonus when waxed. Next is the bead lizard. With caustic wax, it is not rare to get token link on it. In addition to this, caustic wax can also give it bubble pollen and bee ability pollen as a hive bonus. Put this on any rare bee or basic bee. Then we have the toy drum. Toy drums are used as a haste source in blue hives, and they can also grant high bee ability pollen buffs when waxed. Use this on your bucko bee. You should also run a sun hat for white field capacity and a rose headband for extra capacity, both ideally placed on diamond bees. Lastly, here are the ones you can optionally run. You can use pink shades, but only if you have the focus ability on them. SCC is also a decent stat to have on them for extra indirect IC and more pollen. The crazy part is, if you run this together with a kazoo, it can replace a music bee, giving you one extra slot for a buoyant or another bee. Just keep in mind, focus is a caustic-only upgrade, and the Beequip itself is super rare. Currently only a 1% drop from the Planter of Plenty or from Honeybee's Beesmas quest. If you run it, put it on your basic bee. You can use a whistle as a haste source, but it should only be used if you can't afford better Beequips, since its main good hive bonus does not really benefit blue. A paperclip on a rare bee is great, because with caustic wax, it can get token link, and it has ability token lifespan as a hive bonus by default. A toy horn can grant a decent bee ability pollen buff, and together with a focus-producing Beequip, it can help drop a music bee from your hive. A beret can give a buff to blue field capacity or to capacity overall via waxing. Finally, a paper angel is primarily used as a token link source and gives a decent buff to bee ability pollen. So now, the part you guys have been waiting for, the Hive Comps. I'm going to show you a few different setups on screen and break each of them down. First up is the standard hive. For this, you should run 16 buoyant bees and 11 tadpole bees. By the way, for almost every blue hive comp, your buoyant bee ratio should be somewhere around 10 to 17 depending on your capacity. But the standard sweet spot is 15 or 16. Your tadpole bees should sit around 7 to 12 based on your filling. If you notice you are underfilling, just run more tadpoles to balance it out. This standard comp is exactly what you should be running if you are level 18 or below. Do not try to run a diamond hive at this stage. You won't make good honey because your bees just lack the required levels. Next is the diamond meta hive. For this one, you want 16 buoyants, 8 tadpoles, and 10 diamond bees. You should only switch to this comp when you hit level 19 or higher. Why? Because the diamond bee's passive ability absolutely needs those high levels to actually scale and make you honey. Then we have the blessing hive. You use this specific comp when you need to do a blessing boost or an RBC, Robo-Bear Challenge, boost. The only goal here is to get your blessing as high as physically possible. Now that you know the layouts, let me give you some extra tips for adjusting your hive. First, let's talk about token link. This token right here is insanely useful for every hive, but especially for blue since you are macroing 24/7. You need to run 5 to 6 token link sources. That is exactly why a blue hive runs 4 music bees, and you can also use an exhausted bee to get that link. Next up are your haste producers. Having constant haste in bee swarm is just better, period. In a blue hive, you should aim for 3 to 5 haste producers. Ninja Bee and Hasty Bee are great for this, and remember you can also run Beequips like the toy drum or whistle to cover your bases.
By the way guys, here are some early game hive and a top 1 blue hive.
All right, now let's talk about deflation. Honestly, it's kind of confusing, to be honest. So, you see this? Yeah, this is your hive balloon. When a balloon arrives at your hive, there is a timer counting it down every single second. The way that balloon deflates depends entirely on how long you hold it at your hive. Before the 10-minute mark, your balloon is going to deflate at about 1% to 2%. Let's say you have a 1 trillion balloon, and it deflates at 1.5%. That means you just lost 15 billion honey in a single second. But here is the catch. After 10 minutes, it starts deflating crazy fast, jumping to 6% to 10% a second. This is exactly why, in your Natro macro settings, you need to set it to convert every 10 minutes. So that's the balloon part. Basically, do not hold your balloon longer than 15 minutes, and ideally, convert it right before that 10-minute mark hits. Now let's talk about the capacity part. To really understand how this works, you just have to look at this simplified formula right here. Deflation is roughly equal to your balloon multiplied by your base rate and your convert multipliers. Basically, what this means for you is that the higher capacity you have, the lower the deflation you are going to get, or it's just going to take way longer to deflate. So bottom line, just get higher capacity for boosting. Next up, we need to talk about your mutations. Getting a mutation requires 2 specific items, neon berries and bitter berries. The process is pretty simple. First, you feed a bee a neon berry to make it radioactive. Then, while it's radioactive, you feed it bitter berries, which gives it a chance to roll a mutated stat. For a blue hive, the main mutations you actually care about are convert rate, move speed, and bee ability rate, or bar. Let's break it down by which bees need what. For your buoyant and tadpole bees, you should always prioritize move speed first. If you can't get that, aim for bar. Convert amount should be your absolute last resort for these guys. Now, for your diamond bees, you specifically want convert amount. But pay attention here. You need to roll the percentage buff, not the flat base amount. The percentage scales way better with your hive. Finally, for your festive bee, you want to run bar. And for pretty much all your other event bees in the hive, just roll for move speed so they can get around the field faster. All right, now, let's talk about actually boosting as a blue hive. To be completely honest with you guys, boosting as blue is kind of pointless, lol. You basically make the exact same amount of honey just by setting up your macro and walking away. But if you are going to do a proper boost, here is exactly how you need to do it. Max out your capacity. Your main goal is to get as many capacity buffs as physically possible before you start. I'm talking Mondo Blessing, Puff Blessing, your sticker stack, and literally any other capacity buff you can get your hands on. Grab a 4x field boost and pop pretty much every single buff you have in your inventory. Convert every 2 to 3 pop stars. When you're out in the field, you need to head back to your hive and convert your balloon every 2 to 3 pop stars. Why? Because like we talked about in the deflation section, the bigger your balloon gets, the more it's going to brutally deflate and waste your honey. To make those hive trips faster, make sure you equip your honey mask and use a whirligig to speed up your conversion time. Boost with other blue hives. This is incredibly important. You absolutely need to boost in a field with other people who are also running blue hives. You can actually pop their bubbles to build up your own pop star passive way faster. So don't boost alone.